I will be doing my presentation on the book They Say, I Say by Gerald Graff and Kathy Birkenstein. I will be focusing on Chapter 4 and specifically on the ways to agree or disagree simultaneously and being undecided. Agree and disagree simultaneously. This last option is often our favorite way of responding. One thing we particularly like about agreeing and disagreeing simultaneously is that it helps us get beyond the kind of is to or is not exchanges that often characterize disputes of young children in the more polarized shouting matches of talk radio and TV. Some of the templates for agreeing and disagreeing simultaneously are yes and no, yes but. Although I agree up to a point, I still insist. These are very helpful for us when we are writing a paper because a lot of times we don't know how to really put it into wording what we want to say. And with a template, it makes it so much easier. These are just some of the ways you can make your argument complicated and nuanced while maintaining a clear, reader-friendly framework. The parallel structure, yes and no, on the one hand I agree, on the other hand I disagree, enables readers to place your argument on the map of positions we spoke of earlier in this chapter while still keeping your argument sufficiently complex. If you want to stress the disagreement and end of spectrum, you would use a template like this one. Although I agree with blank up to a point, I cannot accept this overriding assumption that religion is no longer a major force today. Also, if you want to stress your agreement more than your disagreement, you would use a template like, although I disagree with much that blank says, I fully endorse his final conclusion that. These are also very helpful because when we're writing papers, a lot of times we want to disagree more than we want to agree with something, or we want to agree more than we want to disagree, and if we can't find the right wording for it, these templates can be very helpful. More templates or more versions also include, though I concede that blank, I still insist that blank. X is right that blank, but she seems on more dubious ground when she claims that blank. While X is probably wrong, she claims that blank, she is right that blank. Also, where areas X provides ample evidence that blank, Y and Z's research on blank and blank convinces me that blank instead. Another way to agree and disagree at the same time is to make what we call an I'm of two minds or mixed feelings move. I'm of two minds about X's claim that blank. On the one hand, I agree that blank. On the other hand, I'm not sure if blank. These templates are helpful when we can't really agree or disagree at the same time. So they kind of help us state, for example, my feelings on the issue are mixed. I do support X's position that blank, but I find Y's argument about blank and Z's research on blank to be equally persuasive. This can help us when we can't really decide on whether we're on one side or the other, so we could state why we're on this side, but why we could also be on the other side. And the last part of this chapter is called, Is Being Undecided Okay? Nevertheless, writers often have as many concerns about expressing ambivalence as they do about expressing disagreement or agreement. Some worry about expressing ambivalence because they will come across as evasive, wishy-washy, or unsure of themselves. Others worry of their ambivalence will end up confusing readers who require decisive, clear-cut conclusions. The truth is that in some cases these worries are legitimate. At some times, ambivalence can frustrate readers, leaving them with the feeling that you failed in your obligation to offer the guidance they expect from writers. At other times, however, acknowledging that the clear-cut resolution of an issue is impossible can demonstrate your sophistication as a writer. In an academic culture that values complex thought, forthrightly declaring that you have mixed feelings can be impressive, especially after having ruled out the one-dimensional positions on your issue taken by others in the conversation. These templates can be very helpful, as they were for me, because a lot of times you just need the little push in order for you to help you to keep writing, or when you don't know how to word something correctly. These can be a huge help and can really help you finish a paper.